Hello, everyone, and good morning. Happy Friday, TGIF. I know that most of you were not expecting a live stream today. I did cancel my regularly timed live stream for Friday, which is 2 p.m. Alaska time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. But I had a little bit of time this morning, so I was like, hey, why don't we just go on and do our morning news live so that we can spend a little bit of time together. And morning glory. This is kind of a funny story, ladies and gentlemen. In a way, it turned out good. There happens to be two morning glories in our community. And the morning glory that I sent the Visa gift card to was not the one that won. She thought she was the one that won because she must have just been listening and not seeing the screen. And she sent me an email, and it worked out just fine because at least the person that sent me the email first, the first morning glory, she told me, and I believe her, she told me that she's disabled elderly, so she could really use the gift card. So I sent her that, not knowing that it was the wrong morning glory. But morning glory, check your email. You should have an e-gift card from Amazon right now in your email, right? And all you have to do is follow the instructions. It's very simple. You go on Amazon, you go onto your Amazon account, you enter the code that they send you, and it will add that $100 to your Amazon account, and you can use it for whatever you want. All right. Sorry about the mix-up. In a way, I'm sorry, and I'm not, because someone who actually really needed some money to get a little bit better prepared got it. But Morning Glory, you have it. You should have it in your email by now, because I ordered it as soon as you sent me your second email today when I replied to you here, and then I double-checked, and there's two Morning Glories in our community. So I hope that you can use that. And again, sorry for the mix-up. Whenever somebody wins a giveaway for whatever reason or of whatever kind, I want to get it to you as soon as possible. So sometimes it takes me a couple of days to get it to you because things get in the way, but I want you to have it as soon as possible. So I would never hold on to it purposefully before getting it to you. All right. Same thing with the solar generator that we did a giveaway for last Sunday. The person that I talk with, that I connect with for that company, guess what? They happen to be on vacation. So now I have to wait for them to get back from vacation to confirm that they're going to ship that solar generator out. Right. So I emailed the gentleman that won, and he was very receptive of the information and told me no problem. Let him know as soon as they get it shipped out, and I will. All right. So again, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. What do we have here? What are you all doing today? It's Friday. What are you all doing today, ladies and gentlemen? You're topping off your gas tank, all right? If you don't have any cash at home and you can take a couple of dollars out just to have cash during the weekend in case anything happens, go ahead and do that as well. Top off your preps if you can. If it's payday prep sounds good to me, right? Let's see. I'm going to go up a little bit here and say hello to a few of you that have been waiting for a little bit. Hello, Jeanne. How are you doing? Paula Bruner, how are you? Penny Willis, Jacqueline Alvarez, how are you? Good to see you. JD Prepping, Monica, Teresa, Carolyn Steele, Karen Black, Linda Bob, how are you doing? No, Linda, I haven't done that. But trust me, Little Miss Alaska Prepper is never without money. All right, she's never without anything. She has a little emergency fund in her, I guess you can call it a wallet. You know those cases that you put your phones in, and they have like slots and stuff like that. She always carries a little bit in there. And it wasn't even me that told her to do it. She just showed me, hey, I have this in here. I think I was shy of a couple of dollars one day, and I was like, man, I don't have any more cash. I left it all at home. Do you have anything on you? She's like, oh, just a second. She pulled out a $20 bill from her wallet. I was like, awesome. Yes, I gave it back. How you doing, Jay Gunther? Sweet Savory Words, how you doing? Jacqueline Johnson's in the house. Tip Top Girl is here. Monica Hardy, Rita, Storm Rider, Rex Wilhide, our favorite taxi driver. Good to see you, brother. Savage Lee, Deb Smith, Gina Brown, Randy Brown, Karen, Karen Black, how you doing? Let me see. Marilyn, how are you? Carrie, Sven is here. How you doing, Sven? Good to see you. Let's see. Deb Smith. welcome. Who else do we have? Jan Penland is in the house. Jan, you made it. Welcome. Good to see you. Taterto's grandma is here as well. Jen N, Lisa Foster, Kathy Russell, Gina, DI7623. No, GI, Social Security raises never help. It never keeps up with inflation, number one, and they usually recoup whatever raise or cost of living allowance increase they did to your Social Security in something else and bringing the price of something else up. It's nothing but propaganda, PR, where those that are asleep, that aren't collecting Social Security and don't depend on it, are like, oh, isn't that nice? They're increasing their Social Security this year by so much, not realizing that inflation eats it all away. And on top of that, usually Medicare goes up. I know that this last year's cost of living increase for Social Security, I believe it was like 5.9%, I believe. But then Medicare went up by, more than $100 a month, I think. So you can correct me if I'm wrong down in the chats. Randy Brown, how you doing? Pilgrim Prepper. Victoria Taylor, how are you? Queen Nia is here. Alaska Gwen is in the house. How you doing, Alaska Gwen? Yep, it's raining here too. It's raining right now as we speak. I'm kind of glad. Am I coming in okay? Let me get a number one if I'm coming in okay. Because I was showing that I have really good signal, which we have nice dense air this morning, nice and cool. It's below 50 degrees. I think it's like 47 degrees outside. Kathy Russell, how you doing? Merry Christmas, Kathy. It is Christmas in August. However, there's no giveaway today. All right, there's no giveaway today. It's only going to be on Sundays. So this Sunday, there will be another Christmas in August giveaway, okay? Ali Rue is here. How you doing, Ali Rue? Good to see you. Carolina Terry, how are you? Svein Vit from Norway, how are you? Beth, how are you? Anise here, how are you? Jonaida is here. Hello, Jonaida. Karen Black, Jacqueline Alvarez. I already say hi. You got a twofer. Savage Lee, how you doing? Let me bring it down a little bit. I'm not intending this live stream to go really super long because I do have some other things to do today. I actually have another video to work on to put up for later on in the day. So look out for that one. And I think it's a good one. It's going to make you think and hopefully prepare better than what you may already be. Long Dog T, how are you? A nurse for you too. Good to see you. Welcome. Betty Randall. Hillbilly is here. Bex 1959. Promised Land Homestead. Linda Murphy. Cinder. Roscoe Rosier. Good to see you, Roscoe. Colleen Rich Pickett is in the house. Hello, Colleen. Kathy. Amy. Brenda. Trucker Hersey's here. Sam Bow and the Mason Nature. Man, those long names really get me. Dan Green, Alice Sylvia. Caribbean House is in the house today, ladies and gentlemen. Valerie has a question. Have you heard anything about Canadians being told to prep? I think, yes, I did hear something about that on the Canadian Preppers YouTube channel. I heard him mention something about that they were told to prepare for 3 days. So to have enough food and things that they need for 3 days. But I just heard it from him. I didn't read it anywhere or anything like that. Julia Murphy. Jennifer Cruz, how you doing? Beatree, how are you? Scrap Metal Racing. Daryl Becca. Rice-A-Roni. Dati. Deborah. Michelle. Anissa. Ali. Darlene. Aunt Lerpa, how are you? From New York, from Rotterdam, New York. Mama Bear is here. The Irish Ladybug, welcome all the way from Arizona. The Survival Buzz is in the house. Baby Root is here. Walt Leon. If I miss anyone, excuse me, not intentional, but the chats do step up on me every once in a while, and I lose a good amount of you. Vanessa, how are you? Midnight Green, Shelly Davidson, Michelle Rucker, Taz Num 1, hello. Hello, Mindy, Amy. Carmen Vasquez, how are you doing? Broke Stacker, I like that. Broke Stacker, if you're stacking, you're not broke. You may not have cash, but you have real money. Blooming Wildwood Homestead, welcome. Cindy Plant. How you doing, Florida man? Good to see you. I think I saw you this morning on John's channel, Prepper Nation. Good to see you. Choking down some lunch. All right. Well, get back to work. Choke down that lunch and get back to work, Florida man. Good to see you here. And thank you for stopping in. Who do we have here? Prepping by Faith. Isabel, just Isabel. Top of the afternoon to you as well. Sven Holmgren. Things like that, I don't believe are an accident. Oh, you must be having a conversation with someone else, and that's a good thing. Converse with each other, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I like doing these live streams, or one of the reasons I really like hanging out with you, but it gives you an opportunity to get to know each other within the chats, and that's a good thing. Hello, Sarah. Dawn Horde, how are you doing from Northeast Ohio? Thank you very much, Dawn Horde. Thank you for being here. Happy Mac is in the house. .ta. Amelia in the PDX. Lai Mora, how are you doing? Good to see you here today. Let me see. Lai or Lee? I'm guessing you're Lee. L-Y. Lee says, I saw your review on the Costco generator. I have bought one now. That is the best one for my needs. Good. I think that Costco generator, the Furman, you're talking about the Furman T07150 or something like that. I think it's a great generator. I think it's a really good generator. I mean, so far, it's done everything that it's supposed to do for me and what I got it for. All right, so I really like it. Hello, Lori, Randy. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. Let me see. Rob Suds, I need a gift card to buy a $50 steak. Well, pretty soon, that $50 steak is going to be about 1 or 2 pounds. Right, and we'll talk a little bit about that today. And I do believe it. When I put up that video, in case you haven't seen it, go check that video out about ranchers warning that we may see $50 beef in the future. And I really believe it. When you think about it now, if you go to like a premium butcher that sells premium steaks, like for example, here I love Tommy G's. Tommy G's is a butcher here that he only works with like the best steak cuts that he can get. And it is very expensive when you compare it to steak that you buy from the store. So you're looking at premium prices, looking at about, I think the most expensive steak I see him sell on a regular basis, because once in a while he'll sell Wagyu that comes all the way from Japan, but that is very expensive. So I don't call that like regular steak. What I mean by regular steak is just like beef steak, but there are different levels or different grades. I think the most expensive one I've seen him sell is like $37 a pound, right? Premium. Now, if a premium of beef is $37 a pound, it's very likely that if there is a shortage of beef, that your regular beef can go up to that amount. And when you think about it, let's talk about ribeye, which is the most, famous. I'm calling it famous for lack of better words, but the most consumed steak is kind of like ribeye. If you look at ribeye now, regular prices for ribeye, if you go to Costco, which is actually cheaper than Walmart and other supermarkets that I've seen, you're looking at 14, 15 bucks per pound, depending on where you live. It's not crazy to think that the price of steak can go up 3 times within the next year or so due to a shortage. So what I say is get it now if you can. If you know how to pressure can. If you have a freeze dryer, freeze dry it. If you have a freezer that you have room where you can put some beef in there, go ahead and get it now, because I believe that the prices that we are seeing right now, they seem like they've stabilized, and they have, but I believe that going into next year is going to increase a lot more due to all of the droughts and the inflation that's going on as we speak, actually. And I wanted to share something with you really quick. Let me see. Who is this here that I missed? I thought I missed a question. No, I didn't see that. I might have. I want to revisit something that I said a while back. And for those of you that have been here for a while, I hope you remember me saying this. And I told you this about, I don't know, the beginning of the year, like January or maybe last year. And I said, we are going to go through a period of time where things are going to stabilize. They're going to look like things are getting better. And then it's just going to skyrocket. I still believe that. I believe because now, like, gasoline prices have gone down a bit. Diesel prices have gone down a bit, but people are now getting used to those prices, unfortunately. And what they don't realize is that, yeah, gas has gone down, I don't know, like almost $1 a gallon, right? Since it's high, at least here where I live. But we're still paying almost twice as much as we were a year and a half. Yeah, roughly a year and a half ago, we're still paying about twice as much as we were. So even though we're paying about twice as much as we were a year and a half or so, and our paychecks have not kept up with inflation, people are becoming accustomed to that high price and now saying, oh, thank goodness, gasoline is down to $4.40 a gallon, or $4.45. I think that's what I paid yesterday when I filled up. So people are like, oh, thanks for this break. We're only paying $4.45 a gallon for gas instead of $5, right? But eventually it's going to go ahead and continue to go up. That's why we need to prepare now. And I mentioned this before as well. I've said that we can't all, some people may be able to, some people may have the resources, some people may have the land available, but we can't all stock up on what we need for the next year, like on fuel, right? On gasoline, right? Heating fuel, I've managed to stock up for a good amount of time on heating fuel. But like on gasoline, we can't all just go out there and get a 2,000-gallon tank and fill it up with gasoline. We just can't really afford that, right? And we don't have the tanks, or depending on where you live, you know, it depends on the codes that the city has, et cetera, et cetera. But one thing that you can do to combat the high prices in energy that are going to be coming here, in my opinion, late in this year and into next year, is to get in bulk all of those other things that you need now. Because if you get them now at today's prices, if you think that the prices are going to continue to go up, if you don't, then don't. If you think that prices are going to go down, then it would be foolish of you to go and buy stuff now at today's prices if you think prices are going to go down. I think that prices are going to go down for certain things that really don't add value to your life, flat screen TVs, computers, you know, electronics, things like that, depending on the microchip shortage as well. I think prices on those things are going to go down because we have a glut of those consumer items in the system due to all of the ships that were off the coast of California for all of those months. So all of that stuff is making it in. That's why you're catching sales at Walmart and other places on things like that. But the things that you need to live, all right, food, especially energy, those things are going to continue to go up in price, ladies and gentlemen. And a way to combat your energy prices later on is to stock up on those things that you need to live now, to get enough to get you through the next year. That way, during the winter, for example, if you rely on heating fuel, but you can't stock an entire winter's supply of heating fuel, you can at least have that income to buy the heating fuel at those high prices and not have to worry about going out and buying food because you have enough food stocked up. Not have to worry about going out and buying that pair of work shoes because you have work shoes stocked up. Someone here actually left a comment that I was looking at earlier today, and that was Prepper F250. And Prepper F250 says, because they are cutting down on the amount of cows in the United States, that's what I think he's talking about, the beef prices. If you have any leather boots that you need for work, I suggest you buy them now. Stock up. In fact, buy a couple of pairs. I think that is a great advice. All right. So thank you for putting that up there. Prepper 250. I lost this comment up here. All right. So let's go ahead and bring it down. How you doing, Pony Girl? Good to see you today. Thank you for stopping in. Lori Lewis says, going to Costco for a payday prep. Good for you. JT made it. How you doing, JT? Good to see you. Yes, this is a surprise live, JT. I put it up about an hour or so before it started, hoping that enough of you would maybe get a notification or see it. So now we're just working our way down. I'm down to my ones right now. So let me get, hey, A9 is in the house. How you doing, A9? Good to see you. Wendy G is here. And look at this. Pony Girl says, yes, my Medicare took the supposed raise that Social Security gave me. It's how it works every time. You're not in the club. You are not in the club, Pony Girl, right? You're not in the club. And neither are we. Everyone here is not in the club. Thank you, Deborah, for saying that loud and clear. I'm coming in clear today. It's funny, I come in clears on the days that it's not really clear outside. How you doing, KC Chicks or KB Chicks? Good to see you. Blessings to you as well, and thank you very much for the blessing. M Dog, how are you? Yeah, look at that. Medicare in New York last year was $145 per month. This year it's $170 per month. Man, $170 per month. And you paid into that too. You paid into that. All right, let's bring it down some. I wanted to share with you something that someone sent me, and then we can take a look at a little bit of the news. Oh, let me tell you what. Michael is doing great. You know what? I also took some pictures of him, but I forgot to upload them. I'll try to do that for Sunday. All right, I'll try to have them uploaded for Sunday. He's doing so good. He's attentive now. You can tell that he can see. He's always smiling and giggling. He's healthy, thank God. All right, let's bring it on down. I am so far behind. For those of you that may be new here, you'll hear me say that often during our live streams. Man, I'm so far behind. Tommy Temper chiming in from Alberta. Welcome, Tammy. Or Tommy, sorry. Tommy Temper. Welcome, Tommy. Thank you for being here. Beth, thank you, Beth. I don't have a lot, but I love the fact that you give to the kid. Well, Beth, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that super chat, Beth. Ladies and gentlemen, and not that I'm not appreciative, I am very appreciative of that. So don't take this the wrong way. I don't mind getting super chats. I don't mind at all. You know, I think it's kind of cool because it's 100% up to you. If you do not have all of your preps topped off, if you don't go into your pantry and you're like, yep, I'm good to go, I got my preps. If you don't have that, you don't need to do a super chat or something like that. And like, you know, I think you know what I mean. You know, you don't need to do a super chat. If you don't have all of your preps topped off, please use that money to top off your preps. Okay. I do appreciate it, wholeheartedly do. I don't want you to think that I'm not grateful. I do appreciate it, but please make sure your preps are topped off. And thank you again, Beth. Thank you, Sherry. Let me see. I put RO water in a 5-gallon container. Is it still safe to drink? Well, Sunset, I would never store reverse osmosis water for long term. I would not store it. I mean, you can, but make sure that when you drink it, I would pass it through a filter, right? I would pass it through a filter. And the reason why I would not store RO water for long term is because it's got nothing in it. It's pretty much pure water. So if there's any kind of bacteria or anything like that inside of the container, it's going to multiply in there. So I would not do that. If I were to store water for long term, I would rather just store tap water, because tap water has already been treated with chemicals, especially bleach or chlorine, and it's going to be shelf stable for a while. But even if I'm storing tap water for long term, I'm going to make sure, number one, that I rotate it. Okay, that's important. And that when I do use it, if I'm going to use it to drink or to consume in any way, to cook, I would still pass it through a filter. I do not trust water at all. I do not trust water that comes from any municipality, and you should never trust water that comes from a lake or a pond or anything like that. So I would say always pass it through a filter. And there are several steps that you can take if you still don't trust it. Like, for example, if I ever had to rely on water that I myself am purifying, let's say I go and get it from a pond or something, first thing I'm going to do is obviously get all of the big chunks out of it, but then I'm going to boil it. I am going to boil it for a while. You know, I believe that the definition of pasteurization is getting your water to like 161 degrees, I think. 161 or 69 degrees for at least 9 seconds, all right? But I would rather just boil it for a minute or so. Then I would pass it through my filter to make sure it was good to go. All right, so I would not consume RO water that was stored away for a long time without having passed it through a filter. Well, let's see. And if you are storing water, like from tap water, I would go ahead and make sure I rotate it at least every 6 months or so. CJ Black asks, do you use or make colloidal silver? I got a kit from Amazon for $99. It's a good natural. I don't use it, but I do know how to make it. It's very simple. And there's so many videos out there on how to make it that I've never really done a video. But all you really need is 3 9-volt batteries. 27 volts will get you colloidal silver. You'll need a couple of leads going from the batteries to the 2 pieces of silver that you then submerge in water. And that will actually make colloidal silver for you. And then you can measure the ppms of the silver, of the colloidal silver in the water. You can measure it with a ppm meter, with one of those stick meters. So it's not very difficult to make. Just make sure you have 9-volt batteries stocked away. And if you don't, have something that can generate 27 volts. Man, so many good questions. Thank you very much, Lynetta Rooney. I like that name. Lynetta Rooney. Thank you very much for the super sticker. Yeah, there's several states where you cannot collect rainwater, which in my opinion is a crime against humanity, right? That is a crime against humanity because freedom or our God-given rights, for example, let me put it this way. The reason I say that is a crime against humanity, that you cannot collect your own rainwater, is this, is because you have the right. There's not very many rights that we have, meaning that we should have these rights. The rights that we have are rights that are given from God. Okay, so like, for example, I am a proponent that you do not have the right to healthcare. Healthcare is a service. It is a service, just like a mechanic goes to school for several years to learn how to fix your car. A doctor goes to school for several years to learn how to fix your body or treat your body. Right? It is a service. All right. So that, in my opinion, is not a right. But do you think that breathing air is a right? Absolutely. Breathing air is a right, because without air, you don't have life. Same thing with water. Having water is a right. So if they take away your ability to collect water and not have to rely on a municipality that pumps the water to your pipe, in my opinion, that they are invading on your constitutional and your right. You're right. Your right as a human to be able to collect water. So I don't agree with that 100%. You should be able to collect rainwater if you want to. And some people are going to be like, well, it's affecting the aquifers and things like this. Ladies and gentlemen, trust me when I tell you this. Governments can do many things with the money that they steal from the people, from we the people, in order to fix this water thing. Right? They can do many things. Yes, there are a lot of things that's out of the control. Nature is going to be nature. But in Israel, I believe, all right, you can check this for yourself. I believe it is in Israel and also in Saudi Arabia, I think, or UAE. They have a whole bunch of water desalination plants. They have a whole bunch of those. We have the technology. There's a gentleman that created a I don't know, I guess you can call it a dehumidifier, that just a huge one that produced like 5,000 to 1,000 gallons of water a day. That all you would do is just put it outside and it naturally collects water from the air. There's a whole bunch of ways to do this, but governments rather take your money, take our money, and do mischievous things with it that really don't make any sense, that's really intended to keep them in power, but not really thinking about the people that they're supposed to be serving. There's a lot of things that we can do in order to fix, maybe not all, but some of our water problems, especially in the more populated areas. Yes, keep stocking it. I wish that I can still get Keystone beef at $5 a can, like I used 2 years ago. But I'm glad that I stocked up on it because now I think they're what, $11, $12 a can, something like that. Let's see. Hey, how you doing, Mario? Good to see you. John Baxter, how you doing? Pampa J, how are you? Good to see you. All right, let's bring it down a little bit. Oh, well, go ahead and go and grandbabies La Rosa. Go ahead and put your question right now and I'll look for it. Okay. I hope you're still listening in because I'm about 7 minutes behind here. Go ahead and put your question in and I will look for it. Okay. Grandma, I'm even going to star you here. Grandbabies La Rosa. Let me see. Revert 2 means thank you and thank you for being here. Let's see. A Gail Goodrich says that she has important information to share. As a burned out prepper, 2020, I have started over and feel pretty good where I'm at. I again this summer was on mandatory evacuation orders. Oh, well, I hope that you're safe. And it is easy to burn out if you're always thinking about it. If you're always thinking about the end of the world, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to burn out. Trust me. That's why, in my opinion, being prepared should be a lifestyle. And once you've got that pantry set up, once you've got your auto shop set up, meaning like your auto parts shop set up, and I don't mean like an auto parts store, I mean getting those things that you may need in the future that may not be available. That's what I mean when I mean set up, getting all of those things. Because preparedness is not just about food and water. You won't need that. But as soon as you have your base set up, it's just filling the gaps. It's just filling the gaps. And every once in a while, when you have some extra income from whatever it may be, you may think, hey, what can I use this? Sorry about that. Let's say you got a tax return and it was $1,000. And you tell yourself, well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and use 500 of that to do whatever. And I'm going to use 300 of that to have some fun with the family. And I'm going to take 200 of that for prepping. Then you can think outside the box. If you've got your base covered, if you got the base of everything you need covered, should I get maybe an extra couple cases of oil and oil filters for my vehicles? You never know, right? Things like that. So you're not going to burn out if you make it part of your lifestyle, but don't think about the end of the world because that's not what prepping is for. It's not doom and gloom as far as like the world is going to end tomorrow. Eventually it will, but we will be far gone by the time that happens. Right. So I like to just keep my preps, keep my gaps filled in. Right. And then when my wife is great because she gives me so many ideas. She's like, what about this? What about that? I'm like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's go get some of that. So a lot of the payday preps that I do, that I show you something new that I gotten, my wife is behind that. Let's see. Okay, let's bring it down some. Oh yeah, let's see. Crazy Prepper Linda, how are you? Good to see you. So thank you for the info about the cricket flour. You may have saved people's lives. Yeah, a lot of people don't read the ingredients. A lot of people do, and same thing here. Let's see. Grandbabies La Rosa. Here we go. I got you here. What is my preferred Mylar bag and oxygen absorbers? I've stuck to using the ones that I have on my Amazon storefront. I've stuck to using those for years. They've never failed me. However, if you want to get the premium ones, like the best ones that I've seen anyone review, go to Grayman Prepping's channel. I believe he has a link to those Mylar bags. They're really, really thick. And the thicker they are, really, in my opinion, the better. The ones that I use, they're only like 4.5, 5 mil thick, but I've been using them for a long time. They've always done a really good job. So I'm going to continue using what I know. But if you want to get like the premium ones, I'm not sure how much they cost. If you want to get the premium ones, go to Grayman Prepping's channel because he does have, I believe, a video on those Mylar bags, and they seem to be very good quality. So it just depends really on what you want. But if I were to recommend any, I have to recommend the ones that I use because I've been using them. I've actually been using them for years. I've never had a failure, not once on one of my Mylar bags. I did one time because I left my bucket open, and Miss Pebbles, Miss Kitty Cat, she decided to try to open that Mylar bag with her claws. So that one had to get redone. I wanted to show you something really quick, all right, about this bug thing here, about this. I will not show you, but I'm going to read you something that I received here. I want to read you a message that I received from the video where I talked about the cricket flour that they were mixing into foods. And I'm going to read it to you here. I'm obviously not going to let you all know who this person is, all right, because it's not about that. But I want to make a point. It says here, and this is referring to that video where I was talking about the cricket flower. And they start out by saying insects are eaten in various cultures around the world. And yes, they are. So I'm going to tell you what I agree with everything. We'll dissect this. Insects are eaten in various cultures around the world. Yes, they are. Absolutely. And believe it or not, there's insects in your food. There's pieces of insects and stuff like that in your food already, right? But very, very small amounts. Okay. Second one, that being said, I'll take a pass on the crickets, which is fine. People shouldn't be wasting their money on all these packaged foods anyways. So this person is saying that she'll take a pass on that because people shouldn't be wasting their money on packaged foods. All right, that's their opinion. And people seem to think that they need far more protein than they actually need. And okay, so what if you do? What if you do need more protein than what if you do eat more protein than you actually need? But whose decision should it be on how much protein you eat? Let's say, for example, that we get put on a social credit score and a CBDC system, and they tell you, well, you can only have this much protein per month. Well, what about if you're a bodybuilder, right? What about if you have a very physical exercise where you tear up your muscles on a daily basis and you need that protein in order to regenerate those muscle fibers that you're tearing up, right? There is no need to figure out how to get more protein into our diets. Hence the solution being crickets. Right? I don't know if I'm reading this right or not, but they say, hence the solution being crickets. Vegans and vegetarians have no trouble getting enough protein. Eat some nuts and move on. And this is the issue that I kind of have with that message. And it's this: whose choice should it be on what you consume? Whose choice should it be? Should it be your choice or the choice of someone else who doesn't know you? They don't know you. They don't know your needs. They don't know your culture. In India, they don't eat beef for the most part. It's a religious thing. In India, they don't eat beef. Well, should someone be making beef flour like they're making cricket flour and put it into their foods without them really knowing about it? So whose choice should it be? This is not about eating crickets. This is not about consuming less beef. This is not about whether you're a vegan or not. This is not about consuming nuts. And if you are a vegan and you consume nuts, please stock up on nuts, because nuts use a lot of water. It takes a lot of water to grow nuts. All right, so you're going to see prices on nuts continue to go up. They've gone up. At Costco, I think that the regular like cashews and almonds and stuff like that we normally get in a little bucket, I think they've gone up by about 30% in the last 6 months or so. All right, so they've gone up, and they're going to go up even more as this drought continues. But my point is, shouldn't you be the one to decide what you consume? And should it be up to someone that's sitting at their ivory tower miles away from you, who don't know you and who don't care about you? That's my point. It's all about freedom. Freedom has produced the greatest nation that has ever existed in the history of mankind. That's my opinion, and I'm sure that it is shared with many, many more. So freedom works. It shouldn't be up to someone else to tell you what you can and can't do. And the video that I'm putting up later on this afternoon has a lot to do with that. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what, for those of you that are here, and by the way, thank you very much for joining in. I do appreciate it. I know that this was kind of like an impromptu live stream. So thank you very much for all of you that are here now. And thank you very much for being here. The video that I'm putting up for later on today, you need to watch that video because it's very serious. I'm talking about a very serious issue that people are being blindsided with. And not enough people are talking about this. And I'm not going to get into it now because it'll take up the rest of the live stream. All right. And I know if you're at work right now listening, thank you. All right. I don't want you to get in trouble. Oh, let's see. How are you, Jay Catalyst? Good to see you. A gypsy flat, whenever a currency is put out by a government that is not a good currency, that is a failing currency. For example, once people are oppressed enough with a CBDC, once they're oppressed enough, a black market will evolve. There will be a black market. You know, humanity is a lot smarter than these people that want to be the rulers of humanity. So I believe that, yes, there will be. You know, I can get into a lot about that, but I believe so. Skid Kid, yes. Go ahead and type in Alaska Prepper Berkey. And I don't know, I think it was about 2 years ago, I show you how to make your own Berkey with 5-gallon food grade buckets for about half the price than what it would cost you to buy one brand new. You just pretty much need the guts and the parts to make it. And it's not hard. I believe all you need is a drill bit and a small wrench. That's it. All right, bringing it down. I read about that, Doc Holliday. Doc Holliday asked, what do you think will happen after December 13th when we go to Biden Bucks digital currency? I read about that. I don't know. We will have to see what happens with that. All right, we will just have to see what happens. I'm just preparing the same way that I've always prepared, trying to ramp it up a little bit. That way we that are prepared can resist the best that we can. But actually, my video that I put up later on today has something to do about that as well. All right, I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I'm not sure if the people are going to go for it. We'll have to see, because with this administration, it doesn't matter what the people say. They're going to do what they want to do. All right, whether it's legal or not, or whether it's lawful or not, they're going to do whatever they want to do. And unfortunately, they're getting away with just about everything they're doing. And who's suffering? Right? Who's suffering? It's not them. Okay, let's go. All right, bringing it down. Oh, okay, here we go. Anna C. Anna C, thank you. Hi, how to warm up your house if you are in an apartment and the power and gas goes out? Well, you're in an apartment, okay? So this is what I would do. I cannot tell you what to do, but what I would do is this. I would have a buddy, a Mr. Buddy. They're small heaters that work on 1 pound propane canisters, or you can hook them up to like a 20-pound propane canister. And what I would do is, if it's an emergency, all right, it's got to be an emergency, I would seal off one room and make it into a hot room. So, you know, like I would seal off like a small bedroom, you know, your average size, smaller bedroom. It's about 100 square foot, 120 square feet. I would seal one of those off, meaning that I would make sure the door is closed. I would make sure I have a towel or something at the crack of the door on the bottom, so no air will be coming in. And then, this is key, I would make sure that I open one of the windows in that room 1 inch. One of those Mr. Buddy heaters, they require at least 9 square inches of open space to the outside. And if you take a window, which is usually 24 inches across, a small window is 24 inches across. If you lift it up 1 inch, that's 24 inches of open space. All right. It's not going to let enough cold air in to negate the hot air that you're making with that Mr. Buddy. I would only do that in the most dire of emergencies, however. All right. Because staying alive is a lot more important, in my opinion, than following code or following the rules for that apartment complex that I may live in. All right. I hope that answered your question, Anna. And thank you very much, by the way. Let's see. Oh, man, look at this. This is what I love about this. Yes. Koala Lover also makes a great point. Candles, all right? Boil water on a stove. If you have a gas stove, right, you can boil water and things like that. But also, if you're going to have candles lit up in a sealed room, go ahead and make sure that you have a little crack of that window open to make sure that you're getting oxygen in there. And I'm glad that you said something, Koala Lover, because I forgot all about the candelier. The Coleman candelier is a 3-candle system that actually generates about 5,000 BTUs of heat. And if you all go back to a video that I did last winter, I actually used 2 of those Coleman candeliers to keep the temperature in here at about 60 degrees while it was negative 26 outside, I think it was. So negative 26, I was able to keep this in here at about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. When I started out on that video, I think inside it was like 67 degrees in here, and it got down to about 60 degrees with just the two candeliers running, with nothing else running, and it stayed at about 60 degrees with those two candeliers going. So great point. Thank you for that, Koala. I'm glad that I caught that. Cats meow for the kids in your. Thank you very much. Actually, I was thinking about what we're going to do for the food bank here coming up in usually around November. You know, late October is when I like to do a donation. The thing is, I'm not sure if we're going to find turkeys this year. I'm not sure if we're going to find enough turkeys for them, but you know, we'll figure it out. You know, we will figure it out. Thank you for that, by the way. Thank you. You didn't have to do that just to say thank you. Thank you very much, though. I hope that you got something out of the answer that I gave you. But remember, do your own research, all right? Just expand. If I give you an answer to something, that's just truly my opinion, but mainly what I do or would do. But go ahead and expand on that by doing a little extra research on your own. Okay, so here we go. Tip Top Girl says canned meats can be ordered from Whirling Bros in Ohio. It is good. They can the bacon for Lehman's. You know, that was something that I was thinking about before. You know, I love Sutton's Days. I love her channel. I think she has a great community. And I was rewatching one of her lives the other day where she said that, nope, you cannot pressure can bacon. And I started thinking, because I've pressure canned bacon before in more than one form. I pressure canned it so that when it comes out, it can be like a regular piece of bacon that's crispy. And I pressure canned it, raw packing it in there where it comes out more of a mush, but you can actually cook it down and it's like bacon bits, right? And I've never had a problem with it. And Sutton, she mentioned that it's not recommended or there's no safety protocols for it. And then I started thinking, I said, but the thing is, and I'm sure she's right, because I've heard it before, that like the USDA doesn't recommend that you can pressure can bacon or anything like that. And I started thinking, but they do it in industry. You know, I forget the name of those cans of bacon. They do it in industry. They actually put bacon in a can and they do it in mass. They do it in a factory setting. So why can we not do it at home? So it just got me thinking that, you know, why is that you cannot pressure can bacon? So many people say that, but I've done it before and it comes out just fine. I mean, I'll continue to do it personally, but that's why doing your research is important. You may disagree with that. You may see me canning some bacon and be like, dude, what are you doing? You're going to kill yourself. I'm like, no, I'm not. I've been doing this for years, but it's up to you. Like I said, it has to be your decision, right? All right, man. You've all taken over the live stream with Q&A today, ladies and gentlemen, which I really like. We may be able to just go over what I was going to go over with you all today, just sparsely, just quickly. Doggone it, says it's about my stomach, then it's my choice. What date is do we have another Sunday after this Sunday? Yeah, we do, don't we? So we still have 2 more Christmas and August giveaways this Sunday coming up, and then the following Sunday as well. That's awesome. So we've got 2 more to go. Yeah, pretty much. We pay for our demise pretty much for everything, Cuba. By the way, thank you for being here, Cuba Bound. Good to see you. Yeah, we pretty much pay for our demise with our own labor, with our own tax dollars. I mean, just look at what they're doing with that 3-letter agency that starts with an I and ends with an S. I mean, look at what they're doing with that. We're going to end up paying for that so that they can come after the people that paid for that. I mean, it's a heck of a scam. I mean, it's worked really well for them for all of these years. Angela Satterfield, thank you. Thank you for being here as well. Jennifer Cruz says, I'm at work, and if I get in trouble, I will be giving my boss your email address so that he can express his concerns. Who is this? This I thought I saw Forrest Ship here. I guess not. I thought I seen his thumbnail. But let's say hello to Floiver State. How you doing? Flyover. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just a simple man. Not Floiver State, Flyover State. Let's say hello to Flyover State. Let's see. Let's bring it down some. Mama Rocks. So what you need to do is you need to find out what type of electricity does your well take. Is it a 110, 120, or is it a 240 volt? All right, you need to figure out which one of those it is. If it's a 110, that's awesome, right? I used to have a shallow well when I lived in Michigan, and it only required 110. So if you have a 110, that is awesome. If you have a 240, not that awesome, but they do sell solar generators, although a bit pricey, that do convert to 240 or have 240 outlets. Or you can get yourself a gasoline generator that has 240. For example, that Furman that I have has a 240 in it. You know, it has a 240 receptacle in it. Now, this is what I would do. Some may say, well, what are you going to do? Run your generator all day long just to power your pump? No, that's not what I would do. If it was the worst case scenario, what I would do if I had a well is I would get me like the biggest tank, water tank that I could get. I would get like a 2,500 gallon water tank, which I have, but this is what I would do if like I wasn't well. And then what I would do is I would fill that tank up whenever I needed it using the well. So you would only have to start up that generator every so often, however long it takes you to go through 2,500 gallons of water. So that way you don't have to have that generator running all the time just to power your well. And then once you have that 2,500 gallons in that tank, you can use it however you need to use it. You can either, put another small pump on it so that it can actually pump it into your piping in your home, or you can just come and get water out of it, however you wanted to do it. But that's what I would do. I would even do that if I lived like in a suburb. I would also, and I had a garage that was kind of like private where no one can see inside of it. I would put a big tank in there also and connect my city water to the tank and then connect my tank to my plumbing indoors. That way I knew that I always have a reserve of 1,000 gallons or more, whatever size my tank is of water in case we do lose water from the city. I hope that answered that question for you. I'm going to bring it on down some. Thank you, Donna. Donna Southward, thank you. People with seafood allergies can also be allergic to insects. Yes, it's because of the chitins in the exoskeletons. Remember reading that article that I read on that video, and it said that the house cricket is like the cousin of the lobster or something like that. So yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Donna, by the way. I'll tell you what, Deborah, I have a whole bunch of turkey that I pressure canned. I did the hot pack method first, which means that first I cooked the turkeys and then I pressure canned them, adding the broth from the turkeys that I cooked in there. And it's great, right? We're still eating it. I don't know. I think it's 2016, 2015 that we canned that. Still good. Nothing wrong with it. So yeah, I've canned turkeys before and they've come out really well. Well, Doctor, industrial can. I actually looked this up. I actually did a little research in this. Industrial canners just go up to 15 pounds of pressure. They go up to 15 pounds of pressure, and that's why I decide to always use 15 pounds of pressure on everything that I do. All right, even though I only need to use 10 pounds here for the elevation where I'm at, I always use 15 pounds of pressure when I do pressure canning. And industrial canners, they use 15 pounds of pressure no matter what elevation they're at as well. So that's why, that's what I do, and that's the research that I did, and that's what I came up with. So if anyone can come up with anything else, let me know. All right? Because ladies and gentlemen, I'm not perfect. All right? And I could be wrong. Colorado Prepper Packrat says, I canned a bunch of bacon. I ate it and no problems. Yes, that's the name of that. Yoder's canned bacon. That's the name of those. Okay, let's bring it down some. Okay. Oh, man, I'm glad that I caught this one. Lori, please shout out my granddaughter. Really? Well, Kayla, happy birthday. Happy 17th birthday to you tomorrow. All right. So happy birthday to you. I'm sure that tomorrow, Lori, is going to be a great day. All right. Happy birthday, Kayla. And may the good Lord bless you with many more. And listen to your grandma. Okay. I'm sure you already know this. Listen to your grandma. Thank you, Lori, for allowing us to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, please say happy birthday to Kayla. Go ahead. That's her name right there. Please say happy birthday to Kayla from the Alaska Prepper community. Monica asks, where do you store dehydrated vacuum sealed ground beef? I just store like anything else. I either use jars or Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. I do the same thing. Where do I store it? I obviously store it in my pantry, but if it's not there and it's in my other location, it's got to be, for me, it has to be a temperature controlled environment where no sunlight can get into it. If it's not in the location that you live in, like for example, just make sure that try to keep the humidity down as well if you can. But being that it's a temperature controlled environment, usually the humidity, is under control as well. But that's where I store it. Try to keep it in a temperature controlled environment. Although I believe that it will last in freezing temperatures. I believe that because it's got all the water out of it. However, maybe not as much with dehydrated, but freeze dried. I believe so. I believe that it will last. And we do have an experiment coming up. For those of you that may not have been here for like a year now, I think we're coming up to a year. If not, we're at a year already. I have to go check the date. Where last year, I put a case of nutrient survival freeze-dried food under my tent. Now, under that tent in the summertime, it gets to like on our hottest days. For us, our hottest days is like 85 degrees, right? During the summer. But inside of the tent, it gets up to like 100 degrees. And in the winter, it gets to like -40. So I put a case of food there, actually 2 cases of food in there, so that we can take a number 10 can out like every year for the next 12 years, if we're still here, and try it out and see how it's doing. So that is an ongoing experiment. But here pretty soon, we'll be doing our first can, taking it out and seeing how it is, because it's freeze-dried foods and it is in extreme temperatures from the low side to the high side. I'm actually pretty interested and excited to do that. And we'll be doing that here soon. Well, thank you for being here, Norma. Thank you for joining in. Happy birthday to Kayla. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That's awesome. Look at all the happy birthdays to Kayla. Oh, that's great. That's great. Awesome. Oh, I'm still going through all of the happy birthday, Kayla. So that's awesome. Thank you for that. I'll see you, Caribbean House. Have a good rest of your day, and thank you for joining in today. Yeah, Julie, that's the one I have, that Furman. I think that the Furman on my Amazon storefront is a dual fuel. I have the tri-fuel. But I think unless you have natural gas piped into your house and you can get it to your generator, I think the dual fuel is fine because it uses propane. And propane you can store forever. You can store propane forever as long as the cylinder is in good shape. All right. What I do to keep my cylinders in good shape, my propane cylinders, is at the neck. After a few years, you'll see that it starts to get a little bit rusty. I just give it a little spray with oil to keep the rust from building up. But I've seen propane cylinders that were like really old and really rusty and everything that still have propane in them and no problem with the propane. So yeah, I definitely recommend at least a dual fuel generator. that takes gasoline and propane. I recommend that more than just a single fuel like gasoline only. All right, well, let's see. Man, we're at an hour right now. Let me go ahead and share with you what I wanted to share with you today, the news that I had with you. And I believe that part of the title of this live stream was Get It Now. All right, get what you're going to need now, ladies and gentlemen, especially when it comes to food stuff. But not only food stuff, but all of those other things that you need on a regular day in order to sustain the standard of living that you've become used to. You know, no matter how many preps we have, all right, ladies and gentlemen, no matter how many preps we have, our standard of living in the case of a major crisis will still be reduced. It'll still be reduced, but your preps will keep you alive, right? Your preps will keep you sane and your family sane, your children sane. Most importantly, though, it will keep you alive. So I wanted to share a couple of articles with you, not too big of a deal here, but it says drought impacts both food and energy supply. Uh-oh, I always do this. I always forget to do this. Drought impacts both the food and energy supply. So what have I said before about energy? Every single family or every household in the United States of America ought to have at least, at a minimum, a small gasoline generator. At least a small gasoline generator or a dual fuel generator, right? One that uses propane, but one that will use a fuel that you can store and store for long term. Because I love solar generators. You all know that I love as a matter of fact, I've got another review coming up probably tomorrow, and then I've got another review after that next week. But anyways, I digress. I love solar generators, but I believe that solar generators and solar in general is a good supplement to having a real generator, a fuel generator as a backup, as your primary backup. Okay, so everyone ought to have a generator. If you just started preparing, I would say that once you have like a month's worth of food and water stored up and a few minor medical things, you know, your base, your basic base, make sure that you get yourselves at the minimum a small solar generator, one that will run your refrigerator, that will run your freezer, that will run the electronic components in your heating system. If you have one, you know, if you have a heating system that needs electrical, and that will keep the lights on. And in my opinion, a 1600 watt solar generator will do all of those things. It will run your fridge, your freezer, the electronic components like, you know, like the rack cage, I think they call it, that spins the air in a forced air central heating system. You know, it'll run that and it'll keep your lights on. So everyone should have that. So that's something that you need to get if you don't have it. Save up for it. You can still get them pretty inexpensive. What else here? And I wanted to talk about this. The drought is causing a lot of problems, not only energy, but look at this. If you like tomato-based products, ketchup, spaghetti sauce, anything that has tomatoes in it, ladies and gentlemen, tomatoes are about to go up in price a very good amount. It says here that catastrophic drought conditions in California are denying farmers the rain that is needed to grow tomatoes, which is causing the price of items such as ketchup, salsa, and spaghetti sauce to surge. So stock up on those things. You all know that I love nutrient survival. It is the very best freeze-dried, nutrient-dense food that you're going to get in the market, period. Right? However, I do advocate for Oxen Farms ingredient-based products. I love the Oxen Farms tomato powder. Even though it's about twice as much as what it was when I first started raving about it a few years back. Now I think the regular price is around $40, $44, where it used to be like 19 bucks. You remember that, JT? Those were the good old days when we can get a number 10 can of tomato powder for like 19 bucks, $19.99. However, I believe that it is still a decent price, even at 40 bucks. If I remember right, one of those number 10 cans of Oxen Farms tomato powder will make about 5.5 or so gallons of spaghetti sauce. So you still get a decent amount of bang for your buck if you go that way. Plus, instead of storing 100 bottles of spaghetti sauce, you can store a couple of number 10 cans of that tomato powder, and you can avoid having to have all of that weight on your shelves and all of that extra glass on your shelves. And you just have a few cans of number of 10 cans of Oxen Farms tomato powders. So stock up on that now. Ketchup. We go through about 1 large bottle of ketchup a month in our household. Why? Because Little Miss Alaska Prepper loves ketchup, and I put a little bit of ketchup on top of my nutrient survival eggs whenever I make eggs. All right, and with hot sauce, of course. So stock up on those things now, ladies and gentlemen. Same thing with mustard. Mustard is also going to become a bit more expensive than what it is now. On one of our previous videos that I put up, I showed you where the inventory of mustard, I think it was in the commissary. I think it was the commissary video where their shelf was about 95% empty of mustard. 90% empty of mustard. Let's see. I don't even remember what articles I have put up here yet anymore. Okay, yeah. So we're still on the drought. Texas cattle industry faces existential crisis from historic drought. In my opinion, this drought is going to last several more years. It's not something that's going to be here this year and be gone next year, right? Why? Because history says so. It's a cycle. We're in a 1,200-year mega drought cycle right now, and drought bowl, dust bowl conditions can come back. They can very well come back, ladies and gentlemen. So prepare for that as well. Cattle, like I said, beef. As I stated, I think right now we're in a leveling off period, but I think that next year, because of the problems we're having this year, prices of beef is going to skyrocket. Oh, so here you go. Linda Bob says there is a mustard shortage here in Western Pennsylvania. Okay. Well, I've been hearing about a shortage of mustard throughout the industry. So, but we'll see how that plays out. That's another good point to bring up. It doesn't have to be just ketchup or mustard. If you use something, get it. It's just being prepared, right? Like, for example, my wife likes Miracle Whip. I don't mind Miracle Whip. Every once in a while, I'll put some on. I think it's a little bit sweet for my taste, but that's what she grew up on. She likes that stuff. So we ran out. I didn't bother to check my pantry to see if there was any left. Why? Because I don't like it. But anyways, we ran out. Went and got like 5 containers. Why? Because I know that we are going to use it. I know that my wife, my daughter, even myself, we will use that before it goes bad. And by the way, even though the expiration date or the best buy date on those, containers of either Miracle Whip or mayonnaise, say like a year or 2 out, I've had mayonnaise that was way past its best buy date, and it was still good. It smelled good. It tasted good. Nothing wrong with it. So go out and stock up on those things as well. What's the next one that I have here? I think this is the last one. And this is just going to be a trend of the times, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that's going to continue to happen. You're going to see a lot of layoffs. You're going to see a lot of people losing their jobs here in the next 6 months. Right? A lot of people are going to lose their jobs. A lot of people are going to find themselves homeless. Just like Thomas Jefferson said, a lot of people will find themselves homeless on the streets, on the sidewalks of the countries that their forefathers built. Why? You can answer that question. Go ahead and put why. Put why in the comments to see if we agree with each other. But you're going to see this a lot more. What does this bring into question? Make sure that your safety is taken care of, right? And not only by getting a self-defense tool, right? Not only by doing that, but by also making sure that you keep alert of what's going on where you live, right? If you're going to go shopping, I think you should go shopping with, at least a couple of people, right? Eventually, when you do go shopping, I believe that you're going to have a third or a fourth person with you, just so that 1 or 2 can stay in the vehicle while you're inside shopping. That way they make sure that the vehicle doesn't get vandalized or stolen while you are actually inside doing some shopping. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's all I have as far as that goes. But I'm not going to expand on all of that stuff like I normally do during one of my news videos in the morning, because we are already at 1 hour and 10 minutes. And I know that a lot of you have to get back to work. Look at that. Gracious 48 says, it's a good thing. I hate mustard and mayo. Yes, that's correct. Ispy, how you doing, by the way, Ispy? Absolutely way too much government. Another good question. Nobody can afford their rent or mortgage. Anyone today, anyone that's living in the now as we are today, that thinks that things are okay, one of two things. That person is either very wealthy, right? Very wealthy. They have no problems with money, because you do understand that inflation affects the working class. I would say at a rate of about 95, 99% of what it affects the rich, right? The people that are worth 6, 7 figures, right? So, but anyone that is a working person that works for a living, that has a 9 to 5, that, lives the average, garden variety American dream here in the United States, or what's turning into the American nightmare really for a lot of people. If you don't see what's going on, and if you don't understand that you need to get prepared if you're not prepared, man, you're really way behind the curve. And I'm not saying this to insult anyone, because a lot of people are ignorant of what's going on, not by their own doing, but by the doing of the educational system and by the doing of normalcy and recency bias. But you have to really look around and see what's going on and get yourself a little bit educated. Understand what inflation is. Understand what it actually is. Look it up. Research it. Understand what it is. And once you understand that, you'll probably get angry for a little bit. But that anger is going to motivate you to get prepared. Because one of the things that really woke me up to start preparing was when I read the book, The Creature from Jekyll Island, which talks about the Federal Reserve. And that's what the creature from Jekyll Island is. It's the Federal Reserve. It's the creature. That's one of the things that really woke me up. But I got very upset when I realized that my actual labor is being stolen from me without my permission. It's being taken from me without my permission. I was upset. I was like, this is wrong. And that's when my journey started. It was an awakening process, and everyone has an awakening process. You just have to take action. I remember saying on a previous video that it's okay to be hopeful, but to be hopeful without taking any action is just having hope. All right. And that may or may not work. Hey, how you doing, NC? It's good to see you. Haven't seen you in a little bit. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the next few minutes. If I missed any questions, put up a question or something you want to share with the community. Just a second. I thought I saw a shadow move back there. Did you all see a shadow behind me? Man, I hope that I don't rewind or rewatch this live stream and I see a shadow behind me. Oh, goodness. We may have to have our live stream from somewhere else other than the bunker. So if I missed anyone's question, or if you want to share something with the community, go ahead and put it all in caps. If you have a question, put question in front of it, all in caps. That way I can, more than likely catch it than not, right? So we'll spend the last few minutes just saying hello to a few of you that I might have missed saying hello to. Hello, Prepping for Life. Good to see you. Garden Matic 81. Good to see you. Kim's Cluckers is here. How you doing, Kim? All day, every day preparedness is here. How you doing, Matt? Good to see you. Matt says they want us totally dependent on them, i.e. the government and coming. Yeah, absolutely. That's what government is. Government is force. Government is force. But how can they use their force against you if you don't need them? See, ladies and gentlemen, how can government use their force against you if you don't need them? But if we allowed them, or we've allowed government to become so big and bloated and powerful that now, in order for us to completely regain our freedoms back, it's going to take a fight, and eventually it will happen. We're almost at that point of the cycle of a nation, which is about 252 years. And I think here in the United States of America, we're at about 246, I think is where we're at, something like that. So be prepared so you don't have to bend to their will, and so that you can be ready to take whatever steps you need to take in order to, make our country the country that it was meant to be by the founders. And if you ask 99% of the people, would you rather be free or would you rather be a slave? I mean, if you ask 100% of the people, would you rather be free or would you rather be a slave? What do you think they're going to say? And eventually enough people will be enslaved enough. They will finally wake up to their own enslavement and say, no, we've had enough. We're not doing this anymore. And we need to be prepared for when that time comes. And by the way, if you haven't checked out Matt over there at All Day Everyday Preparedness, go check out his channel. Matt's a really good guy, a veteran, and he has a really good channel. I'll tell you what, his production skills are a lot better than mine. I still haven't even figured out how to get like the Alaska Prepper name or whatever thumbnail, like to come across the screen and do all that stuff. And it's just not me, but he's a good guy, a good man, and he's got a really good channel. And I'm so glad you're doing really well, man. You haven't started YouTube for that long, and you're already at about, I don't know, close to 3,000 subscribers. That is awesome, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep spreading the message. How you doing, Jessica Garcia? Good to see you. Yeah, you can make your own mayo. It's actually not very difficult at all. You can make it with whatever you want. You know, you need some egg yolks, you need a little bit of salt, you need a little bit of vinegar, depending on, you know, how you want it. But some olive oil will work. Any type of oil will work, but olive oil will work really well. So yeah, you can definitely make your own. And then you obviously need something like a stick blender would probably work best, in my opinion, to make your own mayo, but you can still do it in a regular blender. So okay, let's see. All right, I'm going to bring it down some. I'll be bringing it down some, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing, Ghetto? Good to see you. Dragonfly Dreams, how are you? Tamara Reader, hello. The I Am One made it. How you doing? Wink Tartan Bell, how are you? Mona Solis, how are you? John Baxter, hello. Passamaquoddy is here. Is Uncle Charlie here? How you doing, Uncle Charlie? Chelsea is here. How's the baby doing, Chelsea? How is the little baby doing? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Me and Miss Shadow, how are you? Oh, wow, really? The NASDAQ has dropped by 2% today? Yeah. You know, it's a moot point for me, you know, by now. It's a moot point because that market is such a fake market, you know, pretty much all of it. Even the gold market, that's not a real price for gold. Actually, that's just the price of the dollar. So if you see gold at, let's say 17, I wish gold will get back down to about 1,500. That would be awesome. But let's say you see gold at 1,700. That doesn't signify what gold is worth. It signifies how strong or how weak the dollar is. That's all it is. And it's obviously all manipulated. Okay, let's bring it down. Oh, question. Why nobody talk about hunting and fishing? Coffee guy. Coffee guy, I'll be 100% honest with you. I don't really go out hunting. I go out fishing. I try to go out once a year, once every other year or so. This year we went fishing in Nilchik, Alaska, and we got a good amount of halibut. But my bones can't handle it, right? This fat body here and the scars that I got inside of me, they really can't handle, you know, doing the rucking, you know, doing the humping up and down mountains and stuff. A lot of people see hunting as, hey, it's not that hard. You just have to pull a trigger and you go get, you know, the whatever animal, but yeah, caribou or a moose or whatever it may be. But it's not that. Pulling the trigger is the easy part, right? But dressing that animal in the field, out in the wild, and then, you know, dismembering it and then bringing it back, that's the part that's not very easy. So I plan on having a small homestead where I can be more self-reliant. It's taken years, and it's probably going to take more years than now for me to have everything realized that I want to do. But slow and steady wins the race. I'm getting closer and closer to some of those small, you know, small wishes that I've had over the year. Like I've got my greenhouse built. I have to get Chief to come back in order to finish building my chicken coop. And then eventually I plan on having rabbits and stuff like that. And, you know, in the worst of very worst case scenarios, I've got some corn put away for a special occasion should I ever need it. And that's to feed the moose that come through my yard all the time. So in worst case scenario, I'll put some corn out and I'll be looking out my window here with my 308. Okay. Alex Adrian, thank you for being here all the way from Romania. Awesome. Thank you, Alex. Thank you very much for being here. Well, DD, why didn't you say something earlier? My parents celebrating 60 years. Want a shout out to Rudy. Your parents are celebrating 60 years of marriage. I don't think I'm worthy of shouting them out, but I will say congratulations. That's twice as much as me. I'm at 30 years right now. All right. So congratulations to DD's parents. I wish you would have put their name down and I would have mentioned it by name, but congratulations to you all. That's incredible. And I will spare you. I will spare you all with the joke about how it is that you stay married that long. Okay. Okay. I wish I had my phone right here so I can show you the text. That way, you know I'm not lying to you, but I'm actually using my phone for my hotspot. But doggone it says Becky needs a raise. I actually texted Eric Christensen, who's the CEO of Nutrient Survival, and I said, Eric, through high demand from the Alaska prepper community, I have to give you this message. And I put Becky needs a raise. And he's on vacation, or he was on vacation when I texted him that. And he texted me back and he says, yeah, I've been hearing that quite an awful lot. Well, Pamela, this is something that I've often heard as well, that I've also heard. And the reason that I heard that you shouldn't add fillers to like meatballs or meatloaf, even meatloaf, if you're pressure canning meatloaf, is because you shouldn't be putting any carbohydrates in there, which I've pressure canned meatloaf and I've eaten it years and years after I pressure canned it and I used fillers and it was just fine. And I mean, I don't understand the idea about there not being any carbohydrates in there because there's a lot of other things that are pressure can that have carbohydrates in them. So it's probably over my head, but it's like I said, you have to do your own research. And what I show you is just the things that I do because many people may not agree with how I do them because they read something. So Patricia, how you doing, Patricia? Where does one store money at home? I am so naive when it comes. Use your imagination. Use your imagination, Patricia, and always make sure that somebody that you love and trust with your life knows where it is as well as you. Okay? Wow, that's ridiculous. That is so disgusting. $60,000 house and he's paying 5% of what his house cost in tax every year. That means that in 20 years, Melba's son will have paid his house off again just in the taxes that he's paid. Man, it really is criminal, ladies and gentlemen. It is. But obviously, the people in general, we the people in general, you know, and not just us watching here, but everyone, we haven't had enough of the abuse of government yet to do anything. So, thank you, Jacqueline. Have a great weekend. All right, what do we have? Okay, so I have to get ready to go somewhere, ladies and gentlemen. I'm actually, you know, I can tell you where we're going. I'm actually meeting one of our community members that came up from the lower 48 and is staying here for a little bit. And my wife and I are going to go to lunch with them. So that's what we're doing. So I have to get ready for that. And well, I guess lunch, breakfast, I guess whatever you want to call it. But we're gonna go meet and say hello. Let's see first. Leaning Palm Ranch. I would like to purchase silver as a gift for a Marine vet. What would you suggest? Well, if it's going to be as a gift, I would get a silver dollar, right? American silver eagle, right? It's got a very high premium, but in my opinion, it's the prettiest silver coin there is. If it's as a gift, so you know, if you were storing it for, you know, like to preserve your wealth, I would say try to get the silver that's got the least premium on it, which more than likely would be a generic coin, right? A round. So yeah, if I was going to be giving it as a gift, I would definitely just give a silver eagle because I think it's beautiful. All right, I'm bringing it down, ladies and gentlemen. I'm bringing it down fast. If I see something with a question, let me see. Wait a minute. Who is this? Bonnie Bethel, hello. Me too, hello. I've seen some of the usual suspects here. Ralph Lemon, hello. So I had to stop and say hello. Jason, how you doing? Sandra, John. Okay, good. Boom, boom, boom. All right, we are down here. Yeah, 60 years. Isn't that something? All right, let's go ahead and close it off for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining in. I really appreciate you hanging out for the last, hour and 25 minutes. I hope that you have a great weekend. And we normally do this for those of you that are new. When our outro goes off here in about another minute and a half or so, put I am new in all caps. All right, put I am new in all caps so that we can shout you out during our outro, right? So again, thank you very much for being here. On Fridays, we normally do our safety brief, and that's just basically telling you to be careful, all right? Keep your head on a swivel. Don't do anything crazy. If you like to drink, have a great time, but have a plan. Make sure that you get a designated driver. And if you're going to drink, go ahead and do it, but just don't drive. And don't ruin your life for 5 minutes worth of fun. It's just not worth it. And on top of that, we want to see you here again on Sunday, where we will commence our Christmas in August giveaway. Again, thank you very much for all of your support. I have another video coming out later on today, which I think is a very important video, by the way. So go check that out, all right? And keep an open mind when you're listening to that, right? Having said that, remember to be good to each other, ladies and gentlemen. Remember to... I'm sorry, I got tongue-tied. Having said that, remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. My mind is on something else, so I'm getting ready. Many blessings to all of you and your families. Thank you very much for being here, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you all. I'm Alaska Prepper, and I am out. Remember, say I am new in all caps if you are new, so we can shout you out during our outro. God bless you all.